We're here liberating small business owners from the chaos of working in their business. It's Scott Beebe, the head coach, the founder of the Business on Purpose platform. Appreciate you joining us. We're every single episode. That is our aim. That's our focus. I got asked this today, and I thought it was an interesting question. I wanted to be real honest with you. Have you ever had to dismiss anybody? In other words, have you ever had to fire anybody, terminate anybody? Now, I want to be real honest with you. I've not had a whole lot of experience in firing, termination, letting somebody go directly. Now, I've had to help a lot of business owners help somebody or let somebody go, fire somebody, terminate somebody for a variety of reasons. And so I want to walk you through a framework that we use on a regular basis to determine if not only when is the time, if you ever have to do that, and I hope you never have to do, and also how you go about doing it. So let's talk about when is the time. So you've probably heard me talk about this on previous podcasts, but I'm going to double down on it. If you've got to hire somebody or if you've got to terminate somebody, the very first place you go is your vision, because you're not quite sure if you've got to do it before you look at your vision. You've got to ask yourself the question, do they fit the vision of where we're going to go? I know I might be upset at this moment. We've got to be able to determine if you are emotional or not, because we don't want to make emotional decisions. Proverbs 19:2 says it's not good to be hasty and miss the way. First part of it says it's not good to have zeal, enthusiasm, without knowledge. The second part, it's not good to be hasty, quick-witted, fast, and totally miss what's right in front of you. A lot of times you want to maybe terminate or fire a team member because they frustrate you. They get on your nerves. They bother you. But the reality is they're a great asset to your team. They're a great asset to your business. And it's really more of a you problem than a them problem. Now, I want to say that again, and you might get offended by what I'm about to say. But in my experience, what I have found is many times the reason a team member has to be terminated is more an indictment on the business owner, on us, than it is on the employer, the team member, on them. Why? Because usually we've not done an excellent job of setting them up for success. We've not done an excellent job of setting up delegatable processes. In fact, I believe it was the podcast right before this one, we talked about delegation and the benefits of delegation. One of those benefits was empowering other people. Well, when we don't delegate, when we don't write out process, we actually don't empower other people, and just the opposite. They tend to frustrate us, get on our nerves because we feel like we're always having to tell them what to do. Instead of telling them one time, training them on it over and over and over again, and then holding them accountable to the performance of that one thing and encouraging them and motivating them and inspiring them. And then when it comes down to it and they frustrate us one last time, do you know what we do? We say we got to let them go. We got to let them go. And we get emotional and we get zealous about it and we make quick-witted decisions instead of stopping and slowing down. So the first thing to determine whether or not this team member is a fit or not a fit is to go back to your vision, then go back and see how they match your mission, then go back and see step by step, value by value, how they fit into the values. Now, if you've got green lights the whole way, unemotionally, not because they frustrated you, but if you've got green lights the whole way, then we go to their performance based on your process. You have to ask the question of yourself first, did I set them up for success? Did I process out everything that needed to be processed out so that their role was clear? Do they even have a role? So I'll tell you this right now, if they don't have a clear defined role, and if they don't have processes within that role, I just have to be honest with you. The pending potential termination may be more on you than it is on them. Do you need to give them another chance? And do you need to give them another chance not having abdicated their job role to them, but to have delegated their job role to them? Two very different situations. Again, go back to the last episode and hear my difference between delegation and abdication. But I want to encourage you. In fact, I want to challenge you. Have you set them up for success? Now, let's say you have, and you've done all the right things to the best of your ability. Obviously, none of us is Superman, or at least we don't claim to be. And so let's say that we're at the point to go, hey, I ran the metrics, I ran the tests through the vision, the mission, the values, the process, the role. Everything checks out that they're just not a fit. Now, what do? Here's what we recommend to a lot of guys. Now, obviously, there are moments where you've got to consult lawyers, you've got to consult other professionals. So I am not an attorney. This is not an official statement, and use this at your own risk. But what we found is most helpful is to simply say, hey, Jim, Susie, I wanted to let you know that we're going to have to let you go. Our decision is final. I'm going to let you know why, and then I'll see if you have any questions. Jim, Susie, your performance is no longer in line with our core values. And so with that, I want to go ahead and see if you have any questions. Now, what's going to happen typically is they will begin to try and ask specific questions. And it makes sense, right? They're just learning this. There can be a bit of emotion in this. And you're going to have to start to push away this desire to go down in the rabbit holes and in the weeds with details. Now's not the time for details. There's other times for details. Now's the time to let them know that it's not a fit and we're going to move on. And then you can talk details down the road. But I want to go over that statement again. Jim, Susie, I want to let you know that we're going to have to let you go. Our decision's final. I want to let you know why, and then I want to see if you have any questions. Jim, your performance is no longer in line with our core values. I want you to take that statement. That one's key. Your performance is no longer in line with our core values. Now, you better make sure you have core values, and you better make sure that their performance is not in line with those. And if that's the case, you need to be confident, and they need to be confident that you make both hiring and termination decisions based on principle, based on value, not based on emotion. And that's where that comes in to help with that. Termination's tough. Be gracious when you do it. Be honoring. Honor them on their way out the door. Why? So they'll speak good at you on the other way? Well, that could be a benefit. Honor them on the way out the door because we're called to honor all people. We're called to be a light. We're called to be servers. And even in difficult situations, serve and honor them on their way out. I know it's tough, but that's how both to be aware and also at the same time to actually walk through the process of having to potentially separate somebody from your business. I hope you never have to do it, but if so, I hope that's helpful. And I appreciate you joining us on the Business on Purpose podcast.